What's going on, YouTube? JB here. We just out for a leisurely afternoon ride out on the trace and figured I would go back to Rocky Springs and actually walk back into the town and take a look. So we'll get to that right after this. Well, I made it to the end of the trail. Now we got a little hiking to do. This is all at the head of the trail. And just kind of talks about it a little bit. Said it was settled in the late 1790s, and it was just a watering hole along the trace. And it actually got its name from where that water came from, which was Rocky Spring. Said around 1860 it had a total of 2,616 people, which covered about 25 miles. Had 3 merchants, 4 physicians, 4 teachers, 3 clergy, and 13 artisans. And in the farming community had about 54 planters. So it was actually a fairly good sized little town. Let's walk on up the trail some and see what it looks like. This is actually part of the original old trace. We're just walking up the path and they have a bunch of markers. Said the original spring, Rocky Spring, no longer flows, and all that's left up there is the church and cemetery and 2 resting safes and some abandoned cisterns. Said between the Civil War, yellow fever, and destructive crop insects, along with poor land management, is kind of what brought an end to this once thriving community. I was just walking up the trail and kind of turned around, and that's what I saw. We'll walk on up here and see if we can get a little closer look at it. The way it almost looks is like they still use it. It's the Rocky Springs Methodist Church. Sign says we're welcome to visit the cemetery, so let's walk on up there and take a look. Let's see, I don't know how much of that y'all can read. It says the church was built in 1837 by the Methodist congregation of Rocky Springs. Earlier the town had been a station for a circuit riding preacher who stopped by only once or twice a month. The church was preserved by the former congregation members who held regular service here and gather here at an annual homecoming each spring. Looks like it's got a registry to who comes by and sees it. The note on the door just said, please close the door when you leave. And it was unlocked, so hopefully I won't get in any trouble. I'm not going any further in because I don't want to disturb anything. Let's see what this is. Okay. See right there. So just close the door when we're done and it's closed. So I figured y'all wanted to see my smiling face. Let's walk around a little more and then we'll go through what's left of the old town. This is the old cemetery out at Rocky Springs. I'm not gonna go in. There's not many places that you actually see Spanish moss hanging. All right, let's walk on down to the end of the town and see what's left of it. Okay, we saw the church. Now we go across the bridge to get to the old town. Oh, the camera's over here. So let's go take a look at what we got and see what's left of it. As soon as you cross the bridge, there's a trail that goes up and loops around and comes back right here. So I already see some markers up this way, so let's go take a look. The town of Rocky Springs, population 1860, 2,616. Population today, 0. I'll give it this. They keep the trails cleared here. An old cistern, which was the site of one of the local blacksmith shops for the surrounding farmsteads. My assumption is this is another section of the old trace, but I'm not sure. It could just be some erosion. Got a little more trail to cover. There's an old safe up ahead we're going to take a look at. We came from around that right there, so we got a little bit more to see. This is the safe from the post office that was here. All right, let's keep moving forward. And we got another old safe. And right next to it is another cistern. They're guessing it might be from the general stores because they had the church, the post office, the Masonic Lodge, 2 or more stores, and possibly a school. So it's not really any telling what it was. All right, I think that's where we came in, so we're gonna start on back to the bike.
2 very boring minutes later.
Okay, that was our little tour of Rocky Springs. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. If you did, give a big thumbs up and hit that like, subscribe button. But until next time, we are going to sign off and say, as always, y'all be safe. See you next time.